like and subscribe, and you'll have amazing luck for the rest of the week. We all find spooky things above ground mysterious enough. But if divers are to be asked, greater mysteries actually lurk within the ocean. Today we're going to be looking at 10 of the most amazing underwater discoveries. Just stay tuned, because what we have here today will definitely blow your mind. Number 10. The immortal jellyfish. Are you one of those people that think immortality is for the movies? Well, meet the immortal jellyfish, aka the Benjamin Button of the deep. According to the experts, these jellyfish have a way of cheating death when they're injured or starving. So instead of dying, they transform their adult body into baby forms. To do this, the jellyfish often turn into blob-like cysts, where their entire body cells restart their life all over again. In fact, a cell that was originally in the muscles can get transformed into a cell in the brain or their sperm. What's more interesting is that there are thousands of these jellyfish out there. Research even shows that the immortal jellyfish have been discovered since the 90s. However, with today's science, experts from the Research Institute in Panama believe that the jellyfish may be the answer to anti-aging in humans. Even if that's a long shot, the jellyfish can at least be our antidote to cancer. After all, we can use the ability of these jellyfish to reverse their age to re-engineer cancer. Number 9. Underwater icicles. These underwater icicles are simply known as brinicles, sea stalactites, or the icy fingers of death. As for me, I prefer the third name. Although to see one in real life, you need to dive into the dark depths of the Antarctic waters. There, you will see the brinicles as hollow and finger-like ice tubes that project from the surface of the water to the bottom of the ocean. Inside them, there are several gallons of super cold and super salty seawaters called brine. In most cases, the brine remains intact within the icy tubes, but sometimes these underwater icicles may crack. When that happens, the brine inside them leaks downward, and along the way it freezes any water or sea life it touches. This even gets much worse when the cold brine gets to the bottom of the ocean, where it kills thousands of starfish and urchins. But thankfully, the brinicles are very rare because the conditions they need to form are very uncommon. Even when they happen, it takes about 6 hours before the formation is complete. Number 8. The Lost City of Heracleion. For more than 1,000 years, many people thought that Heracleion was just a legend like Atlantis. But everything changed in 2001 when it was rediscovered 150 feet below the bay of Abu Qir in Egypt. When the discovery was made news, it was revealed that the search had actually begun in 1996. In fact, the search for the lost city was actually reignited in 1930, when an RAF commander claimed to have seen the city. But back then, the seekers used premature resources, so it was like looking for a needle in a haystack. However, after about 7 decades, a French archaeologist named Frank Gaudio took pains to search the bay of Abu Qir. And luckily, he found it. The city of Thonis, Heracleion, was completely submerged underwater over 1,500 years ago. Back then, Heracleion was the Egyptian center of commerce. Among the ruins he found was 64 ships, the Thonis Heracleion stele, several sculptures, and a lot of treasure. Today, all those treasures are now inside the Grand Egyptian Museum, located in Cairo. Number 7. The remnant of a dead star. When stars run out of fuel, they die to give a big, beautiful band that we call the supernova. In 2020, scientists found remnants of one of these supernovas in the Indian Ocean. So how did they find out? Well, the story began when a group of Australian scientists came across a magnetic rock during an exploration. When they took a closer look, they realized that the rock had a type of iron-cladded iron 60. This iron is not found here on Earth. In fact, it is only found in cosmic rays. So, they concluded that the rock was probably from a recent supernova explosion. After investigating the iron bacteria in the rock, they found that it was deposited on Earth about 33,000 years ago. According to them, the star which owned the rock should be about 1 million years old, and some of its debris would still be in space. Now think about this. If an alien life made it to Earth before, what's keeping others from coming again? Mind me not. I'm probably just overthinking. Number 6. The Holy Grail of Shipwreck. The Holy Grail of Shipwreck is the name given to the galleon San Jose, a 64 gunship that once belonged to the Spanish Navy. However, in 1708, the ship, its 600-man crew, was sunk in a battle while carrying a lot of gold, emerald, bronze, and silver. Until 2015, when it was rediscovered, the ship was considered to be long gone. But when it was found, all the treasures inside it were remarkably intact. As of 2018, the treasures and cargo were worth $17 billion. Now there's only one problem. The team that found the galleon San Jose in 2015 belonged to both the Colombian government and a private company from Switzerland. However, 30 years before 2015, another private company discovered the shipwreck. Although the court ruling agreed that the treasure belonged to both of them, but then again, the Spanish government claims that San Jose is a military vessel that marks Spanish history. So to date, no one has ever claimed the San Jose treasure, and the Colombian government refuses to declare the exact location. Number 5. The Hidden Islands of Gondwana. About 180 million years ago, the Earth was not divided into continents like Asia, America, Africa, Europe, and others we have today. Instead, all these continents were united in one supercontinent called Gondwana. But somehow, the Gondwanaland split, and the supercontinent is believed to be lost forever. But then came 2017, when a group of researchers was mapping some parts of the Indian Ocean near Mauritius. All of a sudden, they discovered a mineral that was about 3 billion years old on some of the rocks there. In case you don't know, the Mauritius island was formed around 9 million years ago. And zircon, the 3 billion year old mineral found, exists only on the supercontinent, Gondwana. So, how did zircon find its way to Mauritius Island? To answer that question, the scientists researched further only to realize that remnant of the Gondwanaland exists on the microcontinents beneath the Indian Ocean. For now, only 2 have been found. Each one is as big as Tasmania, and experts believe that they once joined India and Australia together before the 2 had a continental divorce. Number 4. The underwater crop circles. The underwater crop circles are a series of symmetrical patterns that appear on the ocean floors. After a short while, these weird patterns often disappear. When they were first discovered in Japan around 1995, no one could explain what they were. All anybody could say was that they resembled the kind of circles that farmers often drew on their farms in those days. So the discoverers named them crop circles. However, many people came up with interesting theories that included aliens and witchcraft. But a witch drawing weird pictures in the sand at the bottom of the ocean, that's almost unlikely. Surprisingly, the actual explanation for this phenomenon is as weird as the witch explanation. So brace yourself for this one. You see, when it's time to mate, the male pufferfish are actually the ones that make these circles. Of course, they do this to attract their mates, and it takes them a lot of strength and time to get the circles done. So that's another sign that the male of every animal species labors to satisfy their females. So far, we've seen discoveries that were natural or stumbled upon purely by accident. But at the top of the list today, I feature the largest, most intentional man-made underwater discovery ever. Let's find out what that is. Number 3. The Molinari Underwater Sculpture Park. Most museums and parks we know of are above ground, but then the Molinari Underwater Sculpture is a large-scale underwater museum built off the coast of Grenada by a man named Jason Taylor. According to him, we humans should always think about how we use and conserve our natural resources. So, he decided to lead by example. As a result, he built the Molinari in just 2 years. After its completion in 2007, the Molinari was sited 12 meters below the surface of the sea. It's about half the size of a football field. And it features over 300 different groups of artworks. Some of these works include dozens of man-made sculptures, children holding hands, a man-on-man desk with a typewriter, flower vases, and a lot more that hold deep meaning. But as I've said before, this extensive artwork wasn't just for show. It was meant to be one of the largest artificial reefs on the planet. Normally, artificial reefs exist to promote marine life in areas controlled by erosion and blocking the use of trolling nets. Our friend Jason did it creatively. Number 2. The Underwater Train Graveyard. This rickety old train is located 5 miles off the coast of Long Beach, New Jersey. When it was first discovered, the explorers wondered what it was, so they decided to take a closer look. When they did, they discovered that the trains were actually 2. Together, the 2 trains resembled the old-fashioned steam locomotives, called the Planet Class 222T models. However, the interesting thing is these 2 locomotives date to the 1950s. That means, by the time they were made, the Pioneer model was already outdated. But surprisingly, there are no historical records of these 2 engines ever being built, and no record of them being lost. So, how did they get 90 feet underwater? The man who discovered the trains explained that he found them while mapping the ocean bottom with a magnometer. All of a sudden, 2 huge signals popped up, and when he checked, he saw the trains. No one really knows how they got there. However, some experts believe that the engines were lost in transit from Boston to Mid-Atlantic. Whether it was deliberate or accidental, no one knows.
Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you'll get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it. It really works.
Number 1. The Loki's Castle. The Loki Castle I'm talking about here is not the one on Asgard we see in Marvel movies. Instead, the Loki's Castle here on Earth is a group of 5 active hydrothermal vents in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. They are located between Norway and Greenwich and are considered to be the most northerly black smokers ever found. But that's not the most interesting part. You see, hydrothermal vents are found in earthly regions where 2 tectonic plates are diverging and a new crust is being formed. Oftentimes, such places are unstable. However, the Loki Castle lies in a relatively stable region, and the water around is at least 300 degrees Celsius. Yet, some life forms called vent flora and fauna still found a way to thrive there. Of course, this cooked up a lot of unsolved questions from experts. And some of them even believe that the microbes found at the Loki castle could be the missing chain to how complex life came about. So more mysteries for you and me. Now, with all that said and done, let's call it a day.